Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about Trump, leadership, standards, and bare minimums. We're going to do this because last night I released a video talking about Biden because there were a lot of people who wanted to praise Biden for doing something that was basically his civic duty. I'm not sure that's the route to go. Yeah, cool, he did something Trump didn't do. And yeah, I get it. However, it's just what's expected of everybody. If we set the bar as better than Trump, we could end up with a candidate whose only qualifications are that they don't lie constantly, they don't engage in nepotism, don't engage in overt corruption, they're not constantly sexist and xenophobic, and they're not a national embarrassment pretty much every day. Yeah, I mean, those are things we want, but is it enough to be president? The most powerful office in the United States, and therefore one of the most powerful offices in the world, is better than Trump the answer? Or are we just doing what we get mad at politicians for doing? Slapping a Band-Aid on it. Not really fixing the issue. Not addressing the systemic underlying problems. Just putting a happy face on it. When you're talking about one of the most powerful offices in the world, I would suggest that we need to go beyond not Trump. And I understand this election is just, it is what it is. A lot of the choices have already been made. However, there's going to be another. And Trump's impact on the United States is going to be long-lasting. Whether or not he wins this election or not, his impact will be long-lasting. There will be negative impacts from this presidency for decades. One of them will be how we view politicians if we're not careful. Sun Tzu, a work attributed to Sun Tzu, because I know there's a lot of history buffs watching this channel. I'll just say a work attributed to Sun Tzu. The Art of War. It laid out a few characteristics that you needed in a good leader. Set the bar pretty high. They needed to be wise and strategic. They needed to have trustworthiness or integrity. Benevolence is just love. Courage. And they needed to be disciplined. Yet none of that is President Trump. None of it. You know, in this office, when you're talking about the presidency, wise and strategic. Competence. Competence. It's really what it boils down to here. So we would need somebody who had a basic understanding of the Constitution, a basic understanding of foreign and domestic affairs, understanding how the separation of powers works, understanding what's the responsibility of the state and what's the responsibility of the feds, stuff like that. Not something that Trump has. Whether you think Biden has it or not, that's a decision you have to make. Trustworthiness. Yeah, okay, we don't even have to go through Trump on this one. Benevolence. This means you're treating people with respect. When you put it in context of the Art of War, it's winning hearts and minds. The ability to turn your opposition to your friend. That's what it had to do with. It also ties into another quote by somebody else that often actually gets said is Sun Tzu, but it's not. And that's that you should listen to your subordinates because gold lies underground. You don't have such an ego that You refuse to listen to people who know more than you simply because they have a lower station. This, I will answer for you. Biden does this. He does. He listens to people who know more than him. He's established that. Courage. Valor. Trump can't even accept responsibility for his own tweets. Can't accept responsibility for the things he says. He certainly can't accept responsibility for a country. We need somebody who is willing to take on that mantle, who is willing to make the decisions, who is willing to take all of the information in and do what is best for everybody in the United States, not just red states or blue states, showing benevolence. And then they need to be disciplined. And this means a lot of different things. It doesn't just mean disciplining your forces, your staff, in the case of the presidency. It means being self-disciplined. You know, not sitting around eating hamburgers and watching Fox all day. Actually doing the job you're tasked with. Whether or not Biden is these things, I don't know. I have no clue. I know Trump's not. He's not any of them. But again, not Trump. That's not a goal. That's not a goal. That's not something to strive for. Again, I know there's a lot of people watching this channel. This is the hand we're dealt. We have to go with one of these two. Yeah, okay, I get it. I get where you're coming from on that. But that doesn't mean that we can't talk about the ideal, what we're actually looking for. Because if we don't do that, we don't strive for that deep change in the way that we look at things, in the way we do things, especially in selecting those who end up as public officials, we can't expect public officials to. This is a government of the people, at least in theory. We got to do our part. We should set the standards pretty high. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.